Welcome back to Heart to Horizon, where we dive deep into topics that help you break barriers and become the best version of yourself. Today we're going to explore a concept that I believe holds immense power for anyone truly serious about self-improvement. Going ghost. This idea has been gaining traction in personal development spaces, but what does it really mean, and how can it be a game changer in your journey toward a better you? For those unfamiliar with the term, going ghost is about stepping back from distractions, social expectations, and the external noise that can weigh down our progress. It's about going off the radar, not necessarily in a physical sense, but in a way that creates space for you to focus on yourself without the constant input or validation from others. Why disconnection is crucial. The first thing we need to understand is that disconnection is not the same as isolation. Going ghost doesn't mean cutting everyone out of your life or locking yourself in a room. It's about stepping away from the things that don't serve you and creating boundaries where necessary. In today's hyper-connected world, distractions are everywhere. Think about your average day. How often are you picking up your phone, mindlessly scrolling through social media, getting sucked into endless news cycles, or responding to messages that could probably wait? All of these things take up mental real estate. They scatter your focus, making it harder to connect deeply with your goals. Now, some of these distractions may seem harmless or even helpful at times, but over time, they chip away at your ability to concentrate. And without focus, real personal growth becomes almost impossible. Going ghost is essentially a way of reclaiming that focus. It's about drawing a line in the sand and saying, from here on out, I'm putting my energy into myself. I've seen people in my life who were stuck in patterns of distraction, but the moment they decided to ghost those influences, even temporarily, everything changed. For instance, I have a friend who was constantly posting about his fitness goals, hoping for likes and encouragement. But despite the support he received, it wasn't until he stopped sharing altogether, cut out the noise, and focused internally that he started seeing real progress. The power of silence in pursuing goals. Let's talk about the temptation to share your goals with others. We've all been there, right? You set a big goal, maybe you want to lose weight, start a business, or improve your mental health, and your first instinct is to tell people about it. It feels good to get that immediate validation. But here's the thing, that validation can actually be counterproductive. Research shows that talking about your goals can trick your brain into feeling like you've already achieved them. It's a strange psychological phenomenon, but when you receive praise or recognition for simply stating your intentions, it can lower your motivation to actually follow through. This is why going ghost is so important when it comes to your ambitions. When you keep your goals to yourself, you remove the external pressures. You don't have to worry about what people will think if you don't hit a milestone as fast as you expected. You don't have to answer questions about your progress. Instead, your journey becomes about you and your relationship with your goals. And in that silence, you can work freely, without the burden of anyone else's expectations. One of the best examples of this that I've seen is a YouTuber whose channel started out as a small fitness vlog. In the beginning, he was constantly updating his subscribers on his progress, talking about how he planned to transform his physique. But eventually, he just stopped. No updates, no posts, nothing. It seemed like he had gone completely off the grid. Months later, when he finally reappeared, his transformation was nothing short of incredible. He had gone ghost, and in doing so, he freed himself from the pressure of keeping up appearances and focused solely on the work. The importance of prioritizing self-care. When we talk about going ghost, it's easy to focus on what we're stepping away from, distractions, people's opinions, social media, but we also have to remember what we're stepping toward. And that is, ultimately, ourselves. At the heart of going ghost is a commitment to self-care. Self-care is often misunderstood as indulgence, but true self-care is much deeper. It's about doing what's necessary to preserve and enhance your well-being, even if those actions are difficult or uncomfortable. For some, this might mean saying no to social events that don't align with their goals. For others, it might mean waking up earlier to meditate, work out, or simply have time to reflect. Going ghost gives you the space to focus on self-care in a meaningful way. Without the constant input from others or the distractions of modern life, you can get really clear on what you need. And I don't mean just the surface level stuff. I'm talking about digging deep to figure out what kind of self-care is going to sustain you long term. This could be physical, like committing to regular exercise and a balanced diet, or it could be emotional, like setting boundaries and letting go of toxic relationships. In my own life, I've seen how prioritizing self-care can lead to breakthroughs in other areas. When I was first starting out on my personal development journey, I was so focused on what I wanted to achieve that I completely neglected the need for rest. I was running on empty, thinking that pushing myself harder would get me where I wanted to go. It wasn't until I took a step back, ghosted my overscheduled life, and committed to rest and self-care that I started to make real progress. The journey to purpose. Going ghost is not just about eliminating distractions and practicing self-care, it's also about creating the space to discover your purpose. Purpose is one of those things that can be elusive, especially when we're constantly bombarded with the expectations of others. It's easy to lose sight of what really matters to us when we're caught up in the whirlwind of daily life. But when you take the time to step back, to be silent, to listen to yourself, you begin to uncover what drives you. And that's where true self-improvement lies, not in the surface-level goals we set for ourselves because they sound good, or because other people are doing them, but in the deep, authentic work of figuring out what really lights us up. In the process of going ghost, I've seen people uncover passions and talents they didn't even know they had. Take for example, a colleague of mine who worked in corporate finance for years. She was good at her job, but she never felt fulfilled. After a particularly rough period in her life, she decided to ghost her social life and really sit with herself. She took time off, spent hours journaling, meditating, and just being with her thoughts. And in that silence, she discovered a passion for photography that had been buried for years. Today, she's a successful photographer, living a life that aligns with her true purpose. And it all started when she decided to go ghost. The mental and emotional benefits of going ghost. We've talked a lot about the tangible benefits of going ghost. How it can help you focus on your goals, prioritize self-care, and discover your purpose, but we can't forget the mental and emotional benefits that come with this practice. When you go ghost, you're not just cutting out distractions. You're also giving yourself permission to let go of the constant comparison that social media and modern life tend to fuel. You're no longer measuring your progress against someone else's highlight reel. Instead, you're free to define success on your own terms. This can lead to a deep sense of peace and fulfillment. That's hard to come by when you're constantly plugged into the outside world. I've personally found that going ghost helps reduce anxiety and overwhelm. When I'm not constantly exposed to what everyone else is doing, I'm able to focus on what's right for me. I can tune out the noise and listen to my own intuition, which has become one of the most powerful tools in my self-improvement journey. How to go ghost in your own life. So, how do you go ghost? It's not as complicated as it might seem. Start small. Maybe it's taking a break from social media for a week or two, or setting boundaries with people who drain your energy. Maybe it's creating a morning routine that's just for you, where you can focus on your goals without the distractions of the outside world. Whatever it looks like for you, the key is to make a commitment to yourself. Going ghost doesn't mean disappearing forever. It's about taking intentional breaks from the noise so that you can reconnect with yourself and your purpose. And when you come back, you'll do so with a renewed sense of clarity, focus, and strength. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Heart to Horizon. If you're ready to go ghost and take control of your personal growth journey, start today. Take that first step and see how powerful silence and focus can be in transforming your life. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.